Dissociating in 3.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. So happy to see everybody here today. If you can hear me clap once, I don't know. Should we do that? Cool. We're a few minutes late, which wouldn't matter, except we got the live stream. We got folks waiting at home. So let's jump in, because I am very excited about today's session. I just want to say, Andy's got the music covered. We are a professional organization here, y'all. We are crushing it. It's so good to see so many familiar faces. It's so good to see some new faces. My name is Josh. I'm the board president. If you were here last month, you didn't see me. My body gave out on me. My back just didn't work, and I missed last month's event. First event I missed in like 8 years was our first one back after the pandemic. It was heartbreaking for me, but I'm so happy to see that y'all came and that y'all are back this month. Raise your hand if this is your first social media breakfast event in person. Woo-hoo. Big old round of applause for the new folks, yeah. And raise your hand if you've been to a bunch of these. Hell yeah, welcome back, y'all. And raise your hand if you've been watching these throughout the pandemic on Facebook Live. Nice. Yeah, we've been doing these. We missed 1 month. 1 month at the start of the pandemic. We had to cancel because it was literally like a 3-day lag time, and then we didn't miss a single event after that. Really proud to work with such amazing people on the board and to have such an amazing community that gave us a reason to keep doing this. So with that, we'll jump in. We are Social Media Breakfast Madison. If you don't know us, we are a nonprofit. We are focused on keeping the community at the cutting edge of digital marketing. So we do that through speakers, through panels, through webinars, through all kinds of things, networking events. Everything is free to attend. We're completely volunteer-driven and sponsor-supported. This is our board. There's a big old hole right here. We are actively looking for new folks to join our leadership team, both as volunteers and as board members. If today's your first event, maybe don't try to be a board member, but we'd love to have you as a volunteer and work you into that. But seriously, we are actively looking for folks to join our team. And just real quick, big old round of applause for the other folks on this screen, because they're all amazing, and none of us would be here without them. So, connect with us on all the places. We're on all of them for the most part, and hashtag SMBMad is our hashtag. So, would you like to go to a conference? Would you like to take a class? Would you like to get better at something in the digital marketing space? We would like to help pay for it. You can learn more at smbmad.org/scholarships. Are any of our scholarship recipients in the room right now? I didn't see the one I was looking for. All good. Okay, we have a lot of scholarship recipients. We help people pay to do stuff, and it's great. They bring that knowledge back to the community. Next month, we're going to be hearing from Nick Pelkowski. He was actually our very first speaker at the start of the pandemic. He was the guy who kept us on the live stream pre-pandemic and helped us pivot in. Guy's a master Facebook Live guy, and I always learn a ton whenever I hear him speak. I've heard him a few times, so super excited to see what he's getting up to right now. So mark your calendar. We are always looking for speakers, volunteers, food sponsors, and nonprofit spotlights. So definitely head over to smbmad.org and get involved. If you haven't already joined our Facebook group, that is where the conversation continues. Head to Social Media Madison Masterminds on Facebook and join. We'd love to see you over there. I said we are volunteer-driven. We are sponsor-supported. We could not do any of this without our sponsors. So a huge thank you to all of them. And with that, we're going to have Andy come up. And if you don't know, Andy is from Dream Bank, which is where we're standing right now. So let's hear from Andy. I'm going to give him 2 mics, but maybe we can ditch that one. I don't know if we need that.
Good morning,
Wait,
everyone.
you need this one for the live stream. Sorry, just hold that up.
Hi, live stream. Good morning, everyone. As Josh mentioned, my name is Andy Frisky. I am a curator here at Dream Bank. That's all good. And to kick things off, I just want to say this really fills my cup getting to do this, every month and seeing you all, obviously, through a camera lens during the pandemic, but. It never surprises me how many great conversations I have on a pretty consistent basis through Social Media Breakfast. So I am so glad that you are all here. For those of you who maybe aren't familiar with Dream Bank, we are a free community resource that is put on by American Family Insurance, and everything we do ladders up towards the inspiration and pursuit of dreams, in large part by helping to remove barriers for individuals. So there's 3 main pillars in which we operate, the largest one being the events that we host. And on your chair, Faith, I'll come back, or online audience, I'll be back. I wanted to highlight 2 events in particular. So the first one is Taste of Dream Bank. Shout out to my coworker, Megan Lund. If you haven't chatted with Megan, she's wonderful. She does all of our social, or the vast majority of our social at Dream Bank. but she also planned this event, Taste of Dream Bank, in honor of Asian American Pacific Islander month. So got some great restaurants, local restaurants here to Madison that fall into that AAPI bucket. That is this Saturday here at Dream Bank, free of charge. We just ask that you go online and register, but bring your family, bring your friends. Very excited for that event. And then in addition to that, especially during the pandemic when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do in the virtual space, we conducted some empathy interviews and really figured out, what were some shared common dreams or shared roadblocks that people encountered in their dream pursuit. And one of those dreams was purchasing their first home. So we were able to create a bespoke program, first-time home buyers, that is really kind of an all-encompassing program that covers everything from how to save for a home all the way to how to maintain it within those first couple weeks. Obviously a strong insurance component in that, but again, this is free of charge. We spent a lot of time, effort, and energy in creating this. There's a coinciding workbook as well, but a QR code right on there. So would really love any feedback, whether you're thinking about purchasing a home or you know someone who maybe is in that process of purchasing a home. Would love for you all to check it out. So the event's the largest component of what we do here at Dream Bank in our main pillar. In addition to that, we also function as a drop-in co-working space. So if you haven't had a chance to explore the space yet, go ahead and head on back through the space. There's a communal co-working area meant to really kind of embody that third space terminology or emulate a coffee shop environment. So I live on the east side, Josh lives on the west side, looking for a central location to work. That's what it's meant to function as. Right now we're open Tuesday through Thursday as well, so kind of condensed hours, but as long as we're open, you're able to pop in. And then all the way at the back of the space, we have a very robust and interactive exhibit, all rooted in positive psychology. It's meant to embody some of the beliefs and values of the company, and this one, the theme is building your dream. It's probably our most intrinsic exhibit to date. Tons and tons of content that's meant to be taken home and worked on. But yeah, that will be going away in June, so if you haven't checked it out, I highly encourage you to do so. And if I haven't met you, come say hi, come chat. Would love to meet you. And with that, I will kick it back to Josh.
I can attest that Andy's very approachable. I'd also like to say this space was phenomenal before the pandemic, and I just have to give a huge shout out to Dream Bank because it's even cooler now. They've added all kinds of new features. There's like a freaking living wall up there, which there's not a whole lot of place in Madison where you can find that. So I'm a huge fan of Dream Bank as a space and as a group of people. So thank you so much for hosting and partnering with us all these years. Every month we like to shout out a fellow nonprofit. So this month we're going to look at the Madison Public School Foundation. Every year since 2001, they've been raising money and engaging the greater Madison community in the support of public schools. Hopefully you had a chance to speak with them. They were in the front. We'll have some stuff about them on our social channels, but definitely connect with them online. They're doing great work. We're happy to give them a spotlight. And with that, we're going to turn it over to Edessa, who's going to speak about managing and thriving as a one-woman marketing team. Super excited to have her here today.
Yay!
Optional, required.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Let me switch my presentation real quick. All right. Okay, so I'm Edessa Polzin. I'm the president of SMBMadison, and I was a marketer for about 7 years, and 6 of those 7 years, I was the only marketing department. And so I figured there's a lot of teams out there, and marketing always gets a lot less love than the sales team. And I was like, you know what? I need to give back to my community and like help other small marketing teams out there and kind of like share how I survived and thrived as that small marketing team. All right, introductions about SMBMadison. So we are a community of volunteers that for professionals and marketing adjacent, practitioners. So if you're in the ad space or digital marketing, social media, we are the group here in Madison that help all of those marketing professionals out there who need education, networking events, and all of that. So we're always open to volunteers, board members, and partnerships. So you can go to our website, smmadison.org. You can follow us on the socials for our upcoming events. But yeah, it's being a part of SMBMadison has kind of like helped me be better at marketing and meet, like-minded peers. That's everyone here. All right. So because I'm from the AMA, it would be remiss of me if I don't give you a quick marketing crash course for those who didn't go to business school like I did. So who here knows what the marketing mix is? Raise your hand. Yay, so this is good that I did the crash course real quick. So a marketing mix initially was they call it the 4 Ps of marketing, but now I think it's like 7 or 8. It's evolved since then. But for you to have something to market, you should have a product, a price, a place, and a promotion, right? So you have a product, you have a service, whatever it is. So these are the 4 Ps of marketing. So just kind of like a crash course and kind of a level set our conversation for today. All right, so product, price, place, promotion. As a marketing team of 1 or a small team, which P should you prioritize and why? Audience participation, raise of hands. Product, price, promotion, place, which one?
Promotion.
Promotion, product. Why promotion?
Because if you don't promote it, no one will know about how great it is.
Yeah, that's good. Product, why product?
Because that's what you're all about. That's the most important. That's not a good answer.
Any rebuttal? Just kidding. I'm not trying to make a fight. It's a trick question because actually all 4 Ps should be important, right? Gotcha. So the 4 Ps make up the marketing strategy. So like this is not a marketing course. I'm not an instructor by any means, but I wanted to kind of like set the conversation that you know for you to thrive and survive as a department of 1 or a small team, you need to have your marketing strategy locked in. Right? If you need help, you know, making that strategy, that's a different TED Talk. So you can join SMBMadison and we can help you. So the 7 tips I'm going to give you today is it will come from, okay, you have a strategy, you have a marketing strategy. What do you do then as a small team? Right? So what do you do as a small team? Anyone can identify with this graphic? This was me and this was me. Like everything's fine. I can do 7 million things. So the first tip as a small marketing team is to keep it short and to keep it simple, right? So I used to work for a tech company and I was the marketing department. And so I did, you know, trade shows and website and content and graphics. And I didn't go to school for any of these things. And I realized that for me to be successful at that role, I needed to keep it short and keep my goals simple. So instead of trying to do everything, all of the things all at once, I established like 1 or 2, 3 goals and made it specific, measurable, and to focus on one thing at a time. So tech space, it was a SaaS company. Our market was our audience was really on LinkedIn. So it didn't make sense for us to have a Facebook presence or a Twitter account or whatever. And especially since it was just me, I figured, okay, I'll just focus on LinkedIn because that's where our audience is, right? An example of a specific and measurable goal is this one. So increase website traffic by 25% over X number of months through, whatever tactic you want. And so that's how I kind of phrased every year when I start to make my strategic plan is I need to have specific goals so that it's easier for me to focus and be smart about where I put my resources, which is my time and my effort and my mental health. Because if you're a small team, it can get overwhelming really fast. So I have my goal. It's specific, it's measurable. I have, a tactic to do to get there. Next thing I did is I planned and I budget. So if you have like one goal or like that, let's go back to that example, increase website traffic. So all of your tactics should be for that, right? If that is your goal, don't do any other stuff because I think in marketing especially, it's very easy to like, oh, this is so cool, let's try this. There's ChatGPT now, let's try this. But no, you gotta focus and focus on like high impact activities, right? So tie your tactics to your goal, measure and iterate, always improve, and then use data to make decisions. Who here has seen people on LinkedIn call themselves a data-driven marketer? Raise your hand. right? So I mean, I always see that, I'm like, oh, that's so cheesy, but it's actually true. Like, you need to use data to inform your decisions, because otherwise, like, what's the point, right? All right, so tactic, so the goal was to increase sales of new product by 15% in the next quarter. Whatever, blah, it's boring. So the marketing tactic then is, what do you do to achieve that? So maybe you offer a limited discount to get that, right? I mean, this is a very dry example, but just wanted to illustrate what that looked like. All right, so marketers. What's your marketing budget? What is a budget? How do you budget your time? Answers? Hands? No one's answering. Do you have a marketing budget?
No.
Obviously not. Like, what budget? Like, a lot of people too, like, especially in companies, they think of marketing as a spend department, right? Like, oh, you just buy pens and shirts and buy the fun stuff. But I took that as a challenge to prove them wrong. Like, yes, we are a spend department, but we're spending for a reason, right? Okay, so you have 7 million things happening. It's trade show season. There's a Christmas party for the company. You have to order shirts. You have to reserve a ballroom or whatever. How do you stay on top of it? This is a very kind of, obvious tip to stay organized and prioritize. I don't think I know a marketer who has never used like a calendar or some sort of scheduling tool, right? So yeah, calendars and lists are your best friend. An example, color coordinate to see trends. I love this method in my own calendar, because then at a glance I can see, there's too many yellows, and yellows mean meetings. So that I had to scale back. There's too many blues. That means I need to switch it up a little bit. And then who here knows what time boxing is? Yay! So time boxing is this. This is how I organize my day, my life, really work outside of work. Because otherwise, if I don't put it in my calendar, it's not gonna happen. I won't remember it. Even to the point of, focus time or like lunch break, right? It's especially because I work from home. So it's very easy for me to stay on my desk for like 10 hours and then forget to get up and drink water. Who here watches Succession? Yes. So even Shiv Roy uses time boxing, right? If you've seen a couple weeks ago, the episode where she had to say no to Kendall Roy, her brother, of like, I can't talk right now, I have an appointment that I can't move. She needed to cry because her dad died. Like, even Shiv Roy time boxes. So I mean, and it's a Shiv Roy Stan account apparently. So yeah. And then aside from, you need to keep your goals specific, you need to stay on task, you need to plan, you need to budget. You need to also leverage tools and technology around you. And I am one of those folks, so I love technology. I will jump in there and figure it out. My husband, who works for another tech company, is like, I don't like it. I'm scared of ChatGPT. I'm scared of Alexa. It's so creepy. And I was like, no, embrace them. One day, the robots will take care of us. So, if you leverage tools and technology, you can avoid time sinks, right? You can automate where you can. So like scheduling social media posts, that's the most easy, the basic automation I think that I know. And then, embrace technology. Use tools and templates. There's a lot of resources out there. I'm sure SMB has a lot of resources on their website. And then a shameless plug coming up. If you're an AMA member, American Marketing Association, part of your membership, you will have access to over 300 tools and templates, right? So if you need, a competitive table or something, or you need a marketing plan template, for example, you can download all of these playbooks for free as part of your membership. So you don't have to join AMA, but I'm saying there's a lot of tools and resources out there. You can even go to HubSpot. I think they have a lot of resources too that's for free. So speaking of technology, I'm going to do a live demo of how one thing that I have used and has made me avoid those time sinks. So just if you bear with me 1 second, let's see. Can I show this? Oh, I can't. I don't know. Okay, swap. Doesn't work. Let's see. Any questions so far while I try to finagle my... All right, so who here is in charge of posting social media on their company or businesses? Perfect. Who here is in charge of writing copy for a website, like blogs? Perfect. Who here is in charge of thinking of, thought leadership for their business, for their company? Like, we have a webinar, we have a thingy. Okay, so we've all heard of ChatGPT, right? And it's great. Caveat and disclaimer, but there is a plugin for Google Sheets called SheetGPT, and it's powered by the same, concept AI of generative AI. There's different versions of AI, and I use this to kind of like kickstart my brain to think of content, because I think content is the most, time sink of all small marketing teams, right? You need to write a blog or whatever. So let's see. I have the SheetGPT plugin in my Google Sheets, and let's say I need to come up with, I need to think of like titles for a webinar, for example. So all I need to do is, okay, can you guys hear me? Don't fall. Okay. So it's like any other formula. It's GPT. And let's say, give me 3 titles for a webinar about account-based marketing. It's gonna think. Hopefully it works. What if it's a dud? It's gonna be so embarrassing. Come on. Don't fail me now, robot. See? So now, it says maximizing ROI with account-based marketing. And then obviously with any technology, any, non-human content, you need to kind of like finesse and fine-tune. But if you just need those starter ideas, AI is your friend, and it has been my friend. You can even ask it, write me a 300-word essay about whatever. And then it won't be perfect, it will be weird grammatically, but at least it's there. And that saves you time. I was asking a coworker the other day, I was like, where was ChatGPT when I was in college? Or when I was, a marketing coordinator and I needed to make all of this copy from scratch. And so that's kind of like my tip to you is like embrace technology, use tools out there. All right, so switching back. All right, so that was the live demo. Thankfully, it worked. Next tip is make your friends. I'm what they call an extroverted introvert. I work from home. When the pandemic hit, I was like, yes, I've trained for this my whole life. I never have to leave the house. But then I realized, as cheesy as it sounds, you really need your community, right? And so as a professional, especially if you're a small team, if you don't have that community in your company, reach out to outside the company. Build and nurture those professional relationships, to network and collaborate. You're already here, so you're already halfway there. Ask for help and pay it forward. Being part of the SMBMadison group, our board members are here. We have a Slack channel, so I ask, hey, what do you think of this? And it's always good to have that kind of sounding board for people who think like you-ish, because then that's how you get ideas and how you kind of validate, oh, okay, I'm on the right track. And then I think this is the most important. If there's one thing that you could take away from today's presentation, is that it's this: know your strengths. My mom used to call me the Jane of all trades, master of none. Growing up, I played sports, I played piano, I played this, and I dabbled in a lot of things, but I was never a master of anything. But becoming a one-person marketing team, I realized, yeah, I can do graphics, I can do copywriting, I can do WordPress, but these are not my strengths, right? And the moment you realize what your strengths are and what you're good at, I think it will really help kind of make you successful at what you do, regardless of what it is. And so, know your strength, be realistic. I am not the best at creating like business plans and all of these like very business school things, but I'm the creative side, so I can make graphics, I can make content. So decide what you should be an expert at and decide what to outsource, why, and how do you do that. Madison is one of the, I think, best cities for professionals because there's a lot of agencies. If you need headshots, if you need video, there's always someone that you can count on and rely on. And then decide what tools you need. So part of knowing your strength, I've come across this graphic. Who here knows the T-shape or the V-shape framework? Yes, I can share something new. So there's this thing called the T-shaped or the V-shaped marketer. So, as a marketing department of one or a small team, you kind of need to know data, email, social, content. But the T-shaped or the V-shaped it ties back to what I said. You need to decide what you're going to be an expert at. And so the horizontal kind of like skills or competencies talk about, the breadth or like how many skills you know. The depth is what you're an expert at. So if you're an expert at like social media, because we're at SMB, paid ads and all of these things, be the expert at that. And then all the other stuff that you could outsource and, maybe have an intern or have someone else do, I think it'll be more worth your time than just trying to do everything that you're maybe good at, right? So T-shaped, V-shaped, I think they all look like a T or a V to me, so it doesn't matter. But here are all the skills that you have as a small marketing team. Now you decide, okay, which one brings me joy and which one I can be great at. So a little graphic for you. And then last tip is build a team of helpers. So like I said, you have a T-shaped or a V-shaped. You're good at social media. Find your community. Find your team. So there's freelancers. I've used an agency, like I think we all have as a small team. I've used freelancers. I needed to write and publish an ebook for my old company. I went to Upwork and found a person to like help those things because I could probably do it. I could learn how to format an ebook, but it's quicker and more cost-effective time-wise and money-wise if I find the expert to do it for me. There's software, local contracts, agency, university. I know the UW Business School have the SBDC Council, so they can help you get training there, get some classes. Even ask them, hey, who do you think would be a great person to do XYZ for me? There's a lot of resources in the city and on LinkedIn. Just find someone, just start adding people. It's fine. It's not creepy at all. So I think based on that, I've given you 7 tips. Another thing that I think I want to impart before I end this presentation is I always go back to this quote. This was at a keynote for an AMA Leadership Summit last year. Bassam was the speaker, and this is something that he said, that A to Z is just A to B 26 times, right? So just find your Z. Like, if you're a small team, just keep doing the small chunks, and just keep doing that, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm at the end of my marketing year, and now I can just budget for next year, and then just find your Z. It's baby steps, right? And the small chunks, and keeping it manageable, and keeping it simple, and also like giving yourself the grace that, it's not hard. It's hard, and it's not easy to kind of sometimes remove yourself from all of that pressure and all of that. I can't swear here, right? So all of that. So that was it. It was very quick. Add me on LinkedIn, follow SMBMadison on social, attend our events. If you scan this QR code, there is a PDF with all of the resources that I just talked about, and you can download it for free. And any other questions? Anything? I'll open it up. Josh?
So thank you so much for one.
Yeah.
We've got time for questions. If you just want to repeat the question so the folks at home, we've got a bunch of people watching on Facebook Live. So if you just want to repeat any questions folks have.
Perfect. Yes.
Oh,
Do you give the mic?
so I hear a lot of people talk about focus on one platform, but I also know that there are tools where you can post the same thing on multiple platforms. Is that helpful, or does that, I'm just curious in your opinion on that approach.
Okay, yes. So the question was focus on one platform, but now there are tools that makes you schedule and publish things all at once in different platforms. So in my experience, and I'm sure Josh can speak to this too, yes, you can publish to multiple platforms, but what I mean with focus with one is if you know that your audience is on LinkedIn, focus on that metric. Focus on that, okay, what's the growth? What's the click? What's all of the things that you want to look out for? And sure, you should also look at Twitter and whatever other methods or, avenues you have. But focus your, I think your priority should be the right word. Like prioritize that channel. Because, we still publish in Facebook and Twitter because we had some customers and like SMEs who are on Twitter than LinkedIn, but majority of our audience was on LinkedIn. So it just made sense from that perspective to focus on LinkedIn. Did it answer your question? Yeah. Any other questions about marketing or food? So many. You.
When you talked about finding the right tools and organizational things like that, there's all kinds of sort of relational database tools and note-taking tools now, like Notion and Obsidian and things like that. I'm wondering if you have found any one of those more useful for social media work as opposed to general things.
Ooh, social media. I'm going to pass it to you. Repeat the question. What was the question? If there's a tool.
So there's a lot of like note-taking and organizational tools right now out, like Notion and Obsidian and things like that that are based on relational databases. And I'm wondering if there's any one particular tool of those that stands out for social media work.
I did not come up here to answer questions, but I'm happy to jump in. I will just say I don't have a specific tool that you're like in the way you're talking about. That said, I have turned Notion into my brain database. Anytime I learn anything, I'm putting it in Notion now, and it has become invaluable for me to be able to go backwards. Like I'll be talking to a client, I'll be like, oh yeah, I got a name for that. Like it's just so helpful because I knew the concepts. I remember a lot of what I read, but like remembering the exact titles and stuff. So if anybody hasn't used Notion, it's sort of like a notepad, like in Apple Notes, but built for building like giant databases on top of. So I'm tracking everything in a Notion and I love it. There are plenty of other tools. As far as for like scheduling, I'm using a tool called Publer, P-U-B-L-E-R, where I can cross-post content and like change it by account. But for creating content like you're talking about, I think the most important thing is your team has to have a system, and that system matters more than anything. And if that system is literally notepads on the wall, that's better than not having a system. So I'm very reluctant to ever tell anybody what their system should be, because if you've got somebody who's not necessarily super literate in like tech, but is a genius, like really lean into them. So it's always about figuring out what are the strengths on your team. Just because they're not good at Google Docs doesn't mean that they're not good at lots of other things, and like figure out what works. That said, anything that's a collaborative online tool is going to make your life a million times better than if you're working in, a Word doc where you're constantly creating new accounts. So like anybody who's working collaboratively, make sure you have a collaborative system in place to like create content and to think through ideas.
Yeah, off of what Josh just said. So yeah, I've seen Notion and I tried to build it there, but I have so many. I have a notebook, I have all of the things, but I use OneNote for work. because it's free, because we have, the Office suite. It's easier for me to like jot down, and I have my own like digital notebook. I also have a physical notebook on my desk to like keep track of ideas. A favorite tool that I've discovered working at the AMA is called the Miro board. And as a visual person and a creative person, it helps me really map out my brain visually. And during meetings too, brainstorming sessions, and they have templates. I can show you work stuff, but it's like, if you just need the stickies of like, okay, here's my idea for this event, and then we do this, and you can map out the whiteboarding is very awesome, and I can't live without Miro. I even use it to map out the SMBMadison programming year and what we're gonna do and all of these things. So if you're a visual person and you need that sort of, I need to write it down for it to happen, Miro board, OneNote, even like a Word document or running Google Sheet. Use whatever you have. And like, I'm also reluctant to say you should use this because, everyone's different and not everyone's tech savvy. But a simple Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheet, Google Docs, whatever you have will be very helpful. So, any other,
Can you say a little bit about why you decided to serve as the president on AMA and being involved with that organization?
Spicy.
And just tell us about, I love going to your craft marketing hybrid event, or both virtual and in person. Monday nights, once a month. So talk more about, joining an organization like that and getting involved.
Yeah, so the question was, for those at home, why I became the president or why I joined SMBMadison. It came from actually a very selfish place, I would say. I attended my first SMBMadison event in 2020. I attended my first SMB Mad social media breakfast 2019. It was at the laser tag place on the west side.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm saying it's from a selfish place because I didn't go to business school, right? I went to school for a different thing, and then I was in the corporate world, and I felt very insecure not knowing all these words. What's a P&L? Like, what is, strategy and synergies and all these blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, if I could either go get an MBA and spend, 50 grand, or find an organization and learn my way as, I think it's the best way I learn anyways, is by doing. And so I joined SMBMadison as a volunteer at the beginning. Craft marketing was my first event too. It was James Roloff and Elise Chan was the speaker. And I was like, these people kind of like speak my language.
Long-time friends of this org as well.
Yeah. And that was like a light bulb moment for me. And I was like, there's people out here who have the same, problems as I do, have the same questions as I do. I was a marketing coordinator at that point, and I was like, I just need, people to bounce ideas off of. I need the networking. And as hard as it was for me, being an introverted, work from home person, I was like, no, I need to get out there and get these ideas and talk to these people because that's how I get better at what I do. And then the presidency came up. I'm like, oh yeah, I can be president, sure. And then I was like, oh no. But yeah, and whether you join SMBMadison, Magnet, all of these professional groups here in Madison, every group is fantastic, and find that community for you. And I think it gives you a lot of benefits that you don't necessarily think about. Like, I wouldn't be here speaking if it wasn't for SMBMadison, right? So yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but thanks for the question. Any other questions? Yes.
So you used AI for like a brief second.
Yeah.
It's a very hot topic, but I mean, a lot of these agencies are just learning to add a marketing one person kind of, which is like late to the game. But then now we have AI, which can probably produce, in some people's eyes, just as good. I guess my question is twofold. One, how can we use it if we are one person teams more? How can we leverage it? And two, your thoughts on replacing our jobs with this that people may not know enough about marketing or social media, where they're like, that's good enough.
It's a good question. So 2 questions. The first one was, how do you use these tools? How can you leverage it? And the second one is
AI tools. For that, okay.
AI tools, ChatGPT, and generative AI. And then the second question is, how do we convince, the sales team or the board or whatever, executive leadership, that marketing isn't replaceable by a robot? So the first question is, for me, I see AI as a tool that will help me save time. Right? Like I could sit here, and think about, okay, what topic should I talk about next week, and the webinar, the takeaways, and using the tool with the thinking that it's not going to be a perfect human brain, right? There's always those nuances. Like if I ask ChatGPT or SheetGPT to give me a description about this session, it will just repeat the words over and over and make it sound like, gibberish. So to answer the second question, I'm not scared that it will replace us, because unless I've seen iRobot, but the human brain is it's fantastic, and it's especially for marketers. Like AI doesn't have feelings, right? So when you create graphics, when you create content, I don't think it can replicate that human component, because it's not human. And if you're, for those agencies or those companies who are like, oh, we'll replace everyone with AI. Okay, like, I'll just sit here and watch and see what happens, because then you'll be like, oh, actually, and AI doesn't also have, that nuanced thinking of like, it can just say random things, sometimes inappropriate things, or very, you need the human brain to kind of take that AI, tool and use it however you want to use it. So I don't know if it answered the question, but yeah, yes.
AI has a lot of inaccuracies. It can say that there's a state park in North Dakota where you can
Yep.
rescue sea turtles, and that state park has no water. So,
Yep.
but as far as the tools, it's how you guide it.
Mhm.
So catchy and clickable titles for blog posts, detailed outlines. I mean, all of these things you can guide it to really help build whatever you're looking for.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, AI is just a tool. It's not the answer, right? We are the answer. And if the executive leadership or the company doesn't see that, maybe you should switch jobs. Just saying. Just trying to create chaos in the audience. Any other questions? Yes.
You touched a little bit about it with like working with others and outsourcing, but from a standpoint of being a one person on your team and not having any collaboration within your organization, how do you find like feedback or support or just someone else to help generate ideas?
So the question was, being in a one-person team, how do you generate support and foster that collaboration? So I used to just schedule like one-on-one meetings with our sales team. I hated it, internally, but it needed to be done, right? This is inside joke that I have this love-hate relationship of like marketing and sales. But I scheduled like a 15-minute, like, hey, especially if you have a sales team, because I'm in the mindset that marketing is there for the sales team. I'm saying that through gritted teeth, that sales is our customer, right? Our role is to help them sell, because if they sell, company gets revenue, we all get paid, and we like money. So I would schedule 15 minutes with a salesperson or, our dev team or whoever, project managers, and just put that in their calendar and like, hey, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this and that. Sometimes you have to kind of like just stand your ground and like force that kind of, I need to talk to you about this thing. What do you think? Is this, is this sell sheet kind of like working for you? Is the website, what do you need from me? And if you phrase it of like, how can I help? That switches their brains of like, oh, I can talk to her because she's here to help me, right? But really you're helping yourself too, because then you get what you need. A college professor told me once that, you get more bees with honey. I try to think of that when I'm like in full rage mode with other team members, but yeah, you get more bees with honey. So I think just setting that weekly, touch base, face to face, because then also you create that visibility, like, oh, marketing is doing more than just ordering pens and shirts and mugs, right? Yeah. Any other questions? You had a question earlier.
I had more of like a comment.
Oh no.
One thing
joined our IT department, and it's helped me really create like efficiencies in the systems that we already have at our company. Not necessarily that it's like gonna schedule posts or anything, but it's helped my efficiency at work, knowing that they're able to like suggest like, oh, hey, Outlook is coming out with this new software, this new program, or this new task that it can do, and it's really helped me in my day-to-day.
Yeah, so she said that one thing that has helped her being a small team is she's befriended the IT, and the IT department has given her tips like, oh, this new thing is coming up. And I agree. Like, I think befriend, make friends out there in your company. That's how I know about, all the new plugins that's coming up, all of these, quick hacks that every other person is doing. Yeah, I think making friends and just kind of like, hey, how do you do this? I think it goes a long way. Any other questions? Yes.
With like managing up tends to be one of the hardest parts of the job of getting people to buy into what you're doing. Give me tips on that in terms of like you might be thinking you're doing a great job, but all management sees is that you're not posting X number of times a week on social media. So do you have thoughts on where you had your best successes with doing that managing up?
The question was about managing up. I have a lot of thoughts. But no, I think it goes back to that specific goal, right? Because again, in your strategy, you have that goal of like, okay, we need to, increase revenue by 15% or whatever it is. The easiest way for me to talk to upper management and like show them my work is the data that I get. Like, oh, you said that this is our goal, and we know that our audience comes from trade shows or comes from LinkedIn or whatever it is, and this is what we're doing, and here's the data. So now we can make decisions like, okay, do we need to switch it up a bit? Do we need to stop the LinkedIn ads and just buy a new booth for a trade show, do more, whatever it is. Because one thing too I realized is upper management don't really care. Well, they care about the clicks and the conversion and the CTRs and whatever, because that's what they think marketing is, right? They think, oh, it's a Facebook. How many likes did you get? But that's not the point, right? You put the graphic or the post to like for engagement, because then it's brand awareness and top of funnel and blah blah. But upper management talks business, right? So if you can show them from your data that, oh, our website, a lot of people filled out this form to download this PDF, and then the sales team then did their own nurture, and then they had a meeting. That's success, right? I think you gotta speak the upper management's language, and you gotta teach them sometimes that marketing is not about how many likes or comments you have in a post. That's just surface level. You gotta teach them how to think that marketing is more than that. If that answered the question. Yeah. Any others? Come on, you guys. No?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All. Big thank you to everybody, Dream Bank, everybody. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, join it. Make sure to mark your calendars. Nick next month will be talking about doing live events. It's going to be awesome. It always is. And thank you all so much for keeping this community going. Thanks, y'all. And thank you to Edessa, of course.
Thank you.
And the AMO crew.
I'm so sweaty. I'm sweating. It's hot.
Here's donuts.